Romance of the Three Kingdoms, Chapter 50.
So let's paint that picture. Immediately after the fire attack, it's
It-
apocalyptic.
Utterly. The text describes the river boiling with fire,
Yeah.
shouts shaking the earth.
Just countless soldiers burned, drowned, shot. Total devastation. What was the real scale here?
It was overwhelming, a complete rout. There's a poem in the source that just sums it up, something like, "Red cliffs, a sweep of the fleet is gone."
Wow. Just gone.
Yeah, their entire naval power, all that effort just vanished in flames.
Okay, but amidst all that horror, there's this one detail that just jumps out. The survival of Guan guy.
Yeah,
He gets shot by Zhang Liao, falls into the freezing river. How does he possibly survive that?
well, it wasn't just luck. The text makes a point of saying he knew water really well. That helped him handle the fall, the cold, even being injured. And then he gets rescued by Han Dang, but only after shouting his courtesy name, Yigang.
His formal name.
Yeah, like a desperate plea for recognition from a peer amidst the chaos. It really speaks to his resilience and also, the bonds within that Wu army.
And the Wu forces themselves. You mentioned coordination. How did they amplify this fire attack?
Oh, it was incredibly coordinated. You had Han Dang and Jiang Qin hitting from the west,
Okay.
Zhu Tai and Chen Wu from the east,
Mm.
and then the main fleet, Zhu Yu and the others, right down the middle.
A pincer movement, almost.
Exactly.
Hmm.
And the source explicitly says the fire needed soldiers, and soldiers needed the prestige of the fire.
Meaning.
Meaning the fire created the shock, the terror, but the soldiers exploited it immediately. Ground and naval forces working perfectly together to just break the enemy's will, turning that fire into a weapon of psychology too.
So the river attack was devastating, but what about on land? Did that same level of coordination happen there?
Oh, absolutely. That's where Gan Ning comes in. His fire wasn't just random arson.
It was a signal.
Precisely.
Mm.
He pulls off this daring infiltration. Taizong, a defector, leads him right into Cao Cao's camp. Gan Ning kills Taizong instantly. No hesitation. Then sets a fire.
Okay, one fire. How does that become widespread?
Because Lu Mang sees that central fire. That's his cue. He then sets, the text says, dozens of fires in response.
Dozens.
Yeah, and then Pan Zhang and Dong Shi join in, setting more fires, shouting. It wasn't just burning things down. It created this terrifying, all-encompassing inferno. Psychologically, it just shattered Cao Cao's forces, turned the retreat into, well, a nightmare.
So Cao Cao himself,
Mhm.
he tries to escape with Zhang Liao, maybe 100 cavalry, through this burning forest.
Right, and Mao Ji manages to save Wenping, and they join this tiny group. It's pure, desperate survival mode.
Just trying to get out.
Exactly, and it's Zhang Liao who has the presence of mind here. Quick thinking. He suggests Wulin as an escape route
Why Woolen?
because it was more open ground, less chance of being trapped in burning woods, maybe. It shows how vital that kind of quick battlefield assessment is when you're completely fractured.
A single sharp mind can make a difference.
Absolutely. Between annihilation and just a chance.
But, the gauntlet wasn't over. Not by a long shot. First ambush comes almost immediately.
Lu Meng's forces, right on their heels.
And they had to leave Zhang Liao behind.
Yeah, to hold them off.
Yeah.
A delaying action. Buys Cao Cao maybe a few seconds.
And then, just as they think they're clear.
Bang. From a mountain valley, Ling Tong bursts out. The text says Cao Cao nearly split his liver and guts.
You can feel the shock, the terror. He must have thought that was it.
Pretty close.
Yeah.
But then Zhu Huang shows up, just in time.
Another general.
Yes, he engages Ling Tong, fights him off, which allows Cao Cao to slip away again, heading north. These escapes are just razor thin.
It really paints a picture of this once invincible leader just pushed to his absolute limit.
Definitely.
And then things get even weirder, right? They run into, was it Ma Yan and Zhang Yi?
Yeah, former generals of Yuan Shao, an old rival, just camped there on a hillside with 3,000 troops.
Talk about unexpected. What do you even do with that?
Well, what does Cao Cao do? He immediately decides to use 1,000 of these, quote, fresh troops as a vanguard.
Using former enemies. Seems risky.
It's desperate times, right? It shows his adaptability, his opportunism. He's willing to gamble, make these shaky alliances just to carve out a path, anything to survive.
But that relief, it lasted, what, minutes?
Barely.
Yeah.
Less than 10, further, maybe 3 miles.
Yeah.
The second ambush hits. Swift. Brutal. Gunning again.
And he takes out the new vanguard leaders. Ma Yan and Zhang Yi.
Kills them both. Quickly. Efficiently.
Wow. So much for the fresh troops.
Exactly. It's not just random fighting. Gan Ning is targeting key figures. It decimates Cao Cao's hopes again and shows the Wu forces are just relentless, closing every door.
At this point, Cao Cao must be thinking about Hefei, right? A friendly city, some safety.
Probably hoping for it, yeah. But Sun Quan was one step ahead.
He anticipated it.
Yep. Lu Xun and Tai Shizi had already joined forces near Hefei, blocking that route completely.
So no relief there.
None. It forces Cao Cao to change direction again, head towards Yiling instead.
Every path blocked, systematically.
It seems like it. And Zhang He, another of Cao Cao's generals, he's the one covering the rear as Cao Cao just gallops away. It shows incredible coordination from Wu Command. They're funneling him.
Okay, so they've barely escaped multiple ambushes. They're exhausted, demoralized.
Running on fumes.
And this is when Cao Cao laughs. He throws his head back and laughs.
Yeah, it's bizarre, isn't it? Utterly bizarre.
What's going on there? What's the explanation?
Well, his reasoning, according to the text, is pretty telling. He laughs at Zhu Yu and Zhu Liang.
Laughs at them.
Yeah, for their lack of wisdom. He thinks they should have set an ambush right there at that specific spot because it was so strategic.
So even in defeat, he thinks he knows better.
It suggests this almost arrogant self-confidence, doesn't it? Like, I outsmarted you even while running away. It's defiance, maybe. Or just projecting his own strategic mind onto their perceived failures.
Wow. Okay. And then the irony hits hard.
Oh, perfect timing. Just as he finishes saying how foolish they were not to ambush him there.
Drums.
And Zhao Yun emerges, shouting he's been waiting for them.
The text says Cao Cao nearly fell off his horse, I bet.
You couldn't make it up. The irony is just dripping.
What's Zhao Yun's move here? Does he go straight for Cao Cao?
That's what's fascinating. No. He doesn't seem to prioritize killing Cao Cao directly.
Really? What then?
He focuses on seizing flags, banners, standards.
Flags, why?
Well, in ancient warfare, flags weren't just cloth. They were the symbol of the unit, its soul, its rallying point, its legitimacy.
Morale.
Huge morale impact. Seizing flags was a massive psychological blow. Public humiliation. It's like saying your unit doesn't even exist anymore, and he achieves that without getting bogged down in a big fight right there.
So it's a strategic blow, not just a physical one.
Exactly. Xu Huang and Zhang.
Yeah.
You have to step in to fight Zhao Yun off, which lets Cao Cao escape again. But the damage to his prestige, his army spirit, it's done.
And the ordeal just keeps going. The physical conditions sound horrendous.
Oh, absolutely miserable. Heavy rain starts falling.
Silk armor, cold.
Widespread hunger. The text mentions men raiding villages, desperately looking for food, even just trying to find flint to make a fire.
Just imagine the exhaustion, the despair setting in. Is that almost worse than the ambushes at this point?
You could argue it is. An army can bounce back from a fight, maybe, but relentless, cold, wet hunger that just grinds down morale from the inside. It erodes everything.
Even though Li Dian and Zhu Chu arrive with some strategists trying to boost morale.
A small boost, maybe, but the men are physically at their breaking point. That makes it incredibly vulnerable no matter the tactics.
Then they face a choice of paths. South Yiling or North Yiling.
Right. And Cao Cao opts for the quicker route via a place called Huluku, Gourdmouth Valley.
But quicker doesn't mean easier. What's the state of the troops when they reach Huluku?
Desperate, utterly exhausted, starving. Horses are literally collapsing.
Just falling down dead.
Yeah. They finally stop, try to cook some horse meat, dry their clothes under sparse trees. A moment's respite, maybe.
And then he does it again.
Unbelievably, Cao Cao sits down under a tree and laughs.
It's baffling.
Yeah.
After everything, what's the reason this time?
On the surface, it's exactly the same reason as before.
Seriously?
Yep. He mocks Zhu Liang and Zhu Yu again for their supposed lack of foresight. He says, if I were them, I'd have put an ambush right here at Huluku. That would have really finished us off.
It's almost like he can't help himself. Is it arrogance or something else?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
At his absolute lowest point, his mind seems to cling to this idea of his own strategic genius. Maybe it's a coping mechanism, a way to maintain sanity. Maybe project control for his troops.
Or maybe delusion.
It makes you wonder, is this visionary leadership or someone pushed right to the brink?
And then, of course, the punchline. Cosmic irony strikes again.
Immediately, right as the laughter dies down.
Yeah.
Drums, shouts.
And Zhang Fei, spear in hand, blocking the valley exit.
Right there. Striking terror into the hearts of Cao Cao's generals who must just be thinking, not again.
How does this fight go? Is this the end?
It's chaos again. Zhu Chu fights apparently, without even having a saddle on his horse. Zhang Liao and Xu Huang have to double-team Zhang Fei.
Just pure desperation fighting.
Total desperation. And somehow, Somehow, Cao Cao breaks free again. But many of his remaining generals are wounded this time. The cost is immense. His army is just a shadow, completely falling apart after a huge defeat.
Yeah, the text implies they're shattered, probably thinking back to something like the Red Cliffs disaster, just broken.
They're retreating, desperate, and they reach this fork in the road, path 1, long, flat, main road. Adds maybe 50 list.
Okay, seems safer on the surface.
Path 2, the Huarong Road. Shorter by 50 list, but the description is narrow, dangerous, full of pits and bumps.
Yeah.
Basically a nightmare to cross.
Tough terrain.
Now, here's the kicker. Cao Cao sees smoke rising from the Huarong Road, the dangerous one. The main road, silent.
Ah, so smoke usually means ambush, right?
You'd think. Most commanders would probably steer clear. But Cao Cao, he chooses Huarong Road. What's going on there?
Well, it's pure Cao Cao, isn't it? It comes down to his own strategic thinking, which is brilliant, but sometimes, maybe a bit arrogant.
How so?
He actually quotes the art of war. He says, "Wu ku su, usu o ashup."
Doesn't the art of war say, feign weakness to hide strength? And vice versa.
Exactly. So he thinks Su Guziang is playing mind games. He thinks the smoke is a bluff, a shock, meant to look like danger.
To scare him away from the short route.
Right. He believes the real trap, the shell, must be waiting on the safe main road.
So he's absolutely convinced he's outsmarting Suji Liang, seeing through the deception.
Precisely. And what's so fascinating is how this principle, which is, solid strategy, can totally backfire if you misread the signs. Zhuge Liang knew Cao Cao would think that way. He was counting on that overconfidence.
Wow. So he played Cao Cao's own strategic mind against him.
He did. Cao Cao, thinking he was being clever, walked straight into the actual danger zone. It really makes you think, doesn't it? How often do we get trapped by our own assumptions of cleverness?
That's a great point. And the journey itself on Huarong Road, it's described in horrific detail. It's deep.
Deep winter, freezing cold.
Yes. The soldiers are starving, collapsing, horses totally exhausted.
Just brutal conditions.
And then it rains. Early morning rain turns this already treacherous path into mud. Say the horse's hooves are just sinking into it.
You can just picture it, a complete quagmire.
And Cao Cao's reaction. It tells you so much. He orders the stronger soldiers fill the path. Use soil, wood, reeds, whatever you can find.
And he's ruthless about it.
Totally. He threatens execution for any delay.
Act now or die.
It's just survival at any cost.
Yeah.
His cost, mostly paid by his men.
The description of the cost is chilling. Soldiers pulled off their horses to work on the path, then trampled by other horses,
leading to countless dead. You hear the cries along the road, unimaginable suffering.
And Cao Cao, he tells them to shut up or he'll execute them too. Just pure, raw desperation to get through.
And his army just evaporates from this huge force down to what?
Just over 300 cavalry left. And they're ragged, hotat, no proper armor, nothing. Just survivors.
It's a stark picture of leadership under extreme pressure. Decisive, yes, but utterly brutal. Driven only by the need to survive.
It really makes you think about the price of leadership, doesn't it? What a commander is willing to sacrifice.
It does. And you have to wonder, is there a point where that kind of single-minded survival instinct actually works against a leader in the long run?
That's a really interesting question. And then comes this moment. After they finally struggle past the worst part onto slightly better ground, Cao Cao and laugh.
He raises his whip and laughs. Seriously.
Loudly. You feel the relief, sure, but also the arrogance just floods back in.
Okay, what does he say? He boasts. Keisin nu shuije. Everyone says Zhu Yu and Zhuge Liang are geniuses, basically, but I see they're incompetent.
Oh, wow. That's bold.
And then he adds, Hoshushiro o Yuchiyutira. If they just put an ambush here, we'd all have been captured.
The irony is just screamingly obvious, isn't it?
You said it. Because literally, the moment the words are out of his mouth,
let me guess.
A cannon blast. The signal for the ambush he just said wasn't there.
Oh, perfect timing.
And who appears? It's Guan Yu. Riding his famous horse, red hair, leading 500 soldiers armed with blades, just appeared out of nowhere.
Oh, wow. Talk about dramatic timing. How did Cao Cao's men react, the few that were left?
Utter shock. The text says their souls flew from their bodies, and they looked at each other in dismay. They were completely spent. No fight left in them at all.
What about Cao Cao himself? Still laughing.
Not anymore. Initially, his instinct is still, fight to the death. But his generals, they know it's hopeless. Their men can barely stand, let alone fight Guan Yu's fresh soldiers.
So deadlock. What can they possibly do?
This is where Cheng Yu steps in, one of Cao Cao's strategists. And he has this brilliant piece of advice based entirely on understanding Guan Yu's character.
What did he notice about Guan Yu?
Cheng Yu points out Guan Yu's specific traits. He says Guan Yu is proud to superiors but not harsh to inferiors, bullies the strong but not the weak, clear on favors and grudges, known for loyalty. That last part is key.
Loyalty and grudges.
Right. Cheng Yu says basically, you, Cao Cao, showed him great kindness in the past when he served you. Appeal to that. Remind him of your connection, personally.
A direct personal appeal based on past favors. So Cao Cao actually does it, swallows his pride.
He does. He follows Cheng Yu's advice to the letter. He rides forward. It's actually bows to Guan Yu, which is a big deal for Cao Cao. And it opens with this really respectful line. General, how have you been since we last met?
Smooth. How does Guan Yu respond? Is he swayed?
Not initially. His first response is pure duty. He says, essentially, I'm here on orders, military orders from the strategist Zhuge Liang. He even reminds Cao Cao, look, I already paid you back for your past kindness. I killed Yan Liang and Wen Chao for you. I broke the siege of Baima. We're square.
So basically, don't try that personal stuff on me.
Exactly. He finishes pretty firmly. How dare I neglect public duty for private feelings? He's drawing a clear line. Military orders come first.
But Cao Cao doesn't just accept that, does he? He pushes back.
Oh, he's a master manipulator when he needs to be. Yeah. He counters immediately. He appeals directly to Guan Yu's famous sense of honor, his deep knowledge of history. He asks, do you remember slaying generals at the 5 passes?
Clever.
Very clever. It reminds Guan Yu of his own past loyalty and prowess while under Cao Cao's banner. Then he brings up this deeper cut, a historical anecdote from the Spring and Autumn Annals, the story of Duke Yu's pursuit of Zizwarusi.
What's the significance of that story?
It's a classic tale where essentially a warrior shows mercy and prioritizes past bonds over strict duty and is praised for his righteousness. Cao Cao is subtly saying, you, Guan Yu, understand honor, you understand history. Surely you see the parallel. Acting righteously here means remembering our past.
Wow. That's quite the argument. How does Guan Yu react to that?
This is where you see the internal conflict tear him apart. He does remember Cao Cao's past kindnesses. They were significant. He looks at Cao Cao's men, sees them terrified and despairing, all wishing to cry. And Guan Yu, his whole identity is built on this idea of righteousness, yi. It's described as being heavy as a mountain. He just can't bear to see them suffer like that, knowing their history.
So duty versus his fundamental nature.
Precisely. The military warrant he signed versus his own code of honor and compassion.
What does he do? How does he resolve it?
It's a powerful moment. He makes a decision. He turns his horse, red hair, and tells his soldiers, spread out.
Spread out, meaning let them pass.
Exactly. It's an undeniable signal to let them through. As Cao Cao and his generals scramble past, Guan Yu lets out this loud shout, maybe frustration, maybe warning. And the remaining enemy soldiers, Cao Cao's men, they just dismount and start weakening. Relief, terror, who knows. But it just hits Guan Yu even harder.
That deepens his pity.
Immensely. And just as he might be hesitating, second-guessing himself, another figure arrives, Zhang Liao.
Another general who has history with Guan Yu, right. They were colleagues, even friends, under Cao Cao.
Exactly. Seeing Zhang Liao, another face from that shared past, it seems to be the final emotional push. The old friendship feelings resurface. Guan Yu sighs and lets them all go. He chooses compassion. What a moment. And there's a famous poem about it, right?
Yeah. Cao Cao, defeated, fled to Huarong and met Guan Yu on a narrow path. Only because the heavy kindness of earlier days was the golden lock released, letting the dragon escape. Powerful stuff.
Truly iconic moment in the novel.
So Guan Yu lets them pass. An incredible act of mercy. What happens to Cao Cao then? Does he finally reach safety? And how does he process almost being captured again?
He keeps going. Finally reaches a valley entrance. And the count is grim, just 27 riders left with him. 27. But then, finally, some relief. He meets up with forces led by Cao Ren near Nan Commandery. Safety at last.
And his reaction? Relief? Joy?
Surprisingly, no. He cries. Loudly. Greatly to the heavens, the text says. His strategists are baffled. They point out, you weren't scared facing Guan Yu. Why are you crying now?
Yeah, strange timing for a breakdown. Why was he crying?
It wasn't for himself. He reveals he's crying for Guojia Guofenxiao, his brilliant strategist, who had died relatively young sometime before this campaign.
Ah, his trusted advisor.
His absolute most trusted advisor. Cao Cao laments, if Guofenxiao were here, he would not have allowed me such a great loss. He's beating his chest, crying, alas, Fenxiao.
Yeah?
Pain, Fenxiao. Pity, Fenxiao. Over and over.
Wow. So the grief isn't about the close call. It's about the strategic failure and missing the one guy he felt could have prevented it.
Exactly. It's this incredibly raw moment. It shows his vulnerability, his reliance on Guojia. It makes him seem, well, human, despite everything. And the other strategists, they just stand there feeling ashamed, realizing the depth of his loss, and maybe their own perceived inadequacy.
That's a fascinating insight. But Cao Cao being Cao Cao, I imagine the grief doesn't paralyze him for long. What are his next strategic moves?
No, he snaps back pretty quickly. Even in defeat, his mind is working. He decides he needs to go back to the capital, Suchang, regroup properly. But before he leaves, he gives Cao Ren a secret plan to hold Nan Commandery against their rivals, Eastern Wu.
Always planning. Who else gets orders?
He assigns Xiao Dun to guard Xiangyang, another key location. And crucially, he puts a strong team, Zhang Liao, Li Zhen, and Li Lian, in charge of defending Hefei. He specifically calls Hefei the most crucial place. He's already setting the board for the next round of conflict.
Okay, so Cao escapes, grieves, strategizes. What about Guan Yu? He has to go back and face Zhu Zhilang, right? Having let the main prize slip through his fingers.
Yes. He returns to their base at Xiako. And it's a stark picture. All the other commanders are coming back with spoils, horses, weapons, supplies, captured enemies. Guan Yu comes back alone, empty-handed.
That must have been awkward. How does Zhu Zhilang greet him?
Zhu Zhilang starts, maybe a bit sarcastically, maybe testing him with warm congratulations, praises his world-shaking achievement.
How does Guan Yu respond to that?
No pleasantries. Guan Yu just says, very solemnly, I've come specifically to ask for death.
Whoa. Straight to it. He knows he messed up.
He knows he broke the military law. Zhu Zhilang, of course, figures it out instantly. He says something like, so Cao did come via Huron Pass, didn't he? And you let him go because of past kindness.
He calls him out directly.
Directly. And then he reminds Guan Yu about the military warrant, the document Guan Yu signed beforehand, basically promising to capture Cao Cao or face execution himself. Zhu Zhilang states flatly, military law is clear. And then he orders his guards. Seize him.
So Guan Yu is arrested. Is he actually executed?
Well, that's where this chapter leaves us hanging, actually. The story pauses right there. With Guan Yu under arrest, facing execution, concluding with this line of poetry, willing to die to repay a friend, leaving behind a name revered for 1,000 years.